Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Children, welcome for the online teaching. So, we are going for the class 9, subject English, unit 1 poem. Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening by Robert Frost. See, first I'll read. See, you know that Robert Frost is a poet who is a natural poet like William Wordsworth. He saw a simple thing. The theme of the poem is the poet saw a person just standing and watching the wood. When he was traveling on the way, he stands by a thing and watches the wood, and while he is watching a wood, he got a creative mind, and that had been made as a poem. So, first we will see about the poet history. About the poet. Robert Frost from 1874 to 1968 was an American poet noted for his realistic description of rural life. What is rural life? The life in the village. You know that in a village what all you will be seeing? You will be seeing trees, fields, cow and other animals, and people just talking and walking and like that. So, natural scenery. Here rural means you can say natural scenery also. So, Robert Frost is very much interested in rural life. He was born on 26th March 1874. He spent his first 40 years as an unknown entity. He received 4 Pulitzer Prizes for poetry and was a special guest at President John F. Kennedy's inauguration. Some of his famous works are The Road Not Taken, West Running Brook, Mending Wall, and etc. See, I will be reading a poem for you, just listen and we will go by line explanation. First listen to the poem. Whose woods these are, I think I know, his house is in the village though, he will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little ass must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. So, you were just listening the poem, we will go. Second stanza also I will read for you, then we will go for line by line explanation. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promised to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. By Robert Frost. Okay, we will go by line explanation. Whose woods these are, I think I know. See, suppose if you are going to a place and just stand there and watch something, if a new house is built or any property belong to somebody and standing there and you were just standing and watching it, you will be having a fear that maybe the owner will look at you. And suppose you know very clear that the owner is not there and he is somewhere long distance and it is not a problem for you, and you will be waiting for some more time and you will be listening or watching or whatever you want to do, you will be standing in that place. Suppose if the owner is there, you will be little fear that what the owner will say to you if you stand in his place. The same feeling the poet has, whose woods these are, I think I know. So, he feels that he is not sure that the poet will be knowing the person. He thinks may he know. So, he is having I think I know means it is not clear that the poet knows the owner, maybe he is knowing the owner. So, he gives a doubtful question or doubtful thing in this line. Whose woods these are? So, he is asking a question, whose woods these are. Okay, what do you mean by woods? Woods means a forest, a tree or a group of trees is called as wood. And he stands and watches and he asks whose woods these are. I think I know. So, the poet says he thinks that he will be knowing the person, but it is not sure he is knowing it. His house is in the village though. So, he imagines or he thinks that he may know the person and that person will be living in a village in a far distance, far away. So, here the poet says his house is in the village though. So, maybe the owner's house may be in the village. He will not see me stopping here. So he stops here, so his house is in the village, so he may not be seeing me. So it is not a problem now, so I can stand here and watch the scenery. To watch his woods fill up with snow. So what is particular about the hill is filled with snow. You know that anything with the snow, even when it is a new rain or it is snowing, you will be feeling very happy to go and watch it or to play with it. So the author feels very much interested in it and he wants to watch, and he just stands there and watch. My little horse must think it queer. So how he was going, is riding a horse and going, and all of a sudden he stopped. You know that when you travel, you will be just start in one point and you will be stopping in one point. In between you will not stop. So the horse is an animal. It has a strange thought. Why this owner is stopping me in this part? It is not there where he had not gone to the particular place where they have to reach. It is not having any farmhouse or a rest place or anywhere. But in between a wood, he stops, and it was a queer. Queer means strange. So what is the meaning for the queer? Strange. So my little horse must think it queer. So even the poet thinks and gives importance for the animal, for the horse. So he thinks that maybe my horse may think what the strange thing is happening here, why the owner is stopping here. So like that he will be stopping, and he was having such a thought. To stop without a farmhouse near. So there is no farmhouse at all. So he stopped there. There is no farmhouse, and they stopped. They stopped in between the wood. To stop without a farmhouse near. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. The darkest evening of the year. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. So here it is the darkest evening. It is the evening time and night is going to approach. They have to reach to the particular point where they have to stay. So the horse is having such a queer in his mind. The author thinks about the poet thinks about the animal and gives importance for his feelings also. He gives his harness bells a shake. So how the poet find it out that the horse is just having a doubt such that, so he is having a doubt like that. How it is having a doubt? He is having a doubt because it gives a harness bell a shake. So the horse will be having a bell and it is just giving a movement to the body and makes the shake, and the bell was shaking. With that sound the poet founds. To ask if there is some mistake. So you want to shake and give a chance to the poet. The animal is asking. How it is asking? Giving some movement in his body, and the bell was just shaking, and ask whether it is right they were stopping here. So such questions without speaking, this all been understood by the poet. To ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep. So there was no sound at all, it was silent, only the sound the tree made, that sweep sound alone is there, and all of a sudden they hear a bell, harness of the bell, the animal movement, it makes a bell, and that bell makes and feels the author whether the thing is asking a question by shaking the movement, by the movement, not with a word. The horse asks the question, it's right to stop there. But what is the sound there? Only sweep sound is there of easy wind and downy flake. So the snow was just falling down and easy flake, and the movement of the trees which gives, or a wind movement is produced, only that sweep is there. The woods are lovely. How the woods are? So the poet feels very amazing to see the lovely wood, and he says, lovely, dark and deep. It is so lovely to stand and it is so dark and deep. But I have a promise to keep. So I have to keep a promise. I have to keep a promise. What is the promise? To reach the place at the right time. So, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. It is by Robert Frost. So here what is saying? Only a mile is there to go before I sleep. So here he have to take a rest, and he says only a miles are there, and in that 1 mile they have to go and take a rest. Already he promised somebody to come and he is going to reach. So here we will see no, to, snow. These are the rhyming words. So here no is there, though is there, and snow is there. So those 3 words are rhyming words, and here no rhyming words. So A, and here this is B. A, B, A is the rhyming scheme. Queer, near, here, where the rhyming words, and this is lake. So you will be having queer and here and the thing. Queer, near, lake, here were the rhyming words. So you have alliterations and rhyming words and rhyming schemes. Shake, stake, sweep and flake. So shake, stake, flake is A and sweep is B. Deep, keep, sleep, sleep. So here you are having last stanza, deep, keep, sleep, sleep. So all the 4 is the rhyming word, and A is the ending of thing. So and miles to go before and miles to go before is a repetition. So anything which is repetition is called as, when a line is repeated 2 times like that, you will be called as repetition, and that is repetition is called as repetition. So you will be having a nice poem, small poem you enjoy. It is a memory poem. You will be learning this memory poem, and in next class we will be writing a test. Thank you, children.